Hello, ladies, and welcome to our new Bible reading series. I'm Cinder and Lo from HeavenlyPlace.com, and this year, as we read through the Bible, we'll explore God's incredible story of love and redemption. If you're looking for a Bible reading plan that's simple and doable, this is it. So let's get started and discover the heart of God together, one chapter at a time. Hello, ladies, and welcome back to our one-year Bible reading plan. So, again, we're playing a little bit of catch-up, and since we want to take off some days for Christmas and the day after, we're going to combine week 52, days 1 and 2, in this reading, which is Revelation chapters 12 through 16. And in these chapters, we're going to see the dramatic picture of the spiritual battle between good and evil, as we see heaven's perspective on the war that has raged throughout history, and we see God's plan to bring it to an end. And these are just visions of great conflict, warnings of judgment, and then declarations of victory. And though much of what we read is very sobering, it all leads to the truth that God is in control, and nothing will stop His purpose from being fulfilled. And here's where we see the heart of God. Even as His justice is poured out, we see His mercy and His calling people back, giving them time to turn to Him and always remembering those who are His. You know, as I was reading this today, I was just reminded that God's love remains steady. He's faithful, even in the chaos. And He's not just a judge, He's our Redeemer. Okay, ladies, let's begin our reading today in Revelation chapters 12 through 16.
The Revelation to John. Chapter 12. And a great sign was seen in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. And she was with child, and she gave a cry, in the pains of childbirth. And there was seen another sign in heaven, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his head 7 crowns. And his tail was pulling a third part of the stars of heaven down to the earth. And the dragon took his place before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when the birth had taken place he might put an end to her child. And she gave birth to a son, a male child, who was to have rule over all the nations with a rod of iron, and her child was taken up to God and to His high seat. And the woman went in flight to the wasteland, where she has a place made ready by God, so that there they may give her food 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels going out to the fight with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels made war, and they were overcome, and there was no more place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was forced down, the old snake, who is named the Evil One and Satan, by whom all the earth is turned from the right way. He was forced down to the earth, and his angels were forced down with him. And a great voice in heaven came to my ears, saying, Now is come the salvation, and the power, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of His Christ, because he who says evil against our brothers before our God day and night is forced down. And they overcame him through the blood of the Lamb and the word of their witness, and loving not their lives they freely gave themselves up to death. Be glad then, O heavens, and you who are in them. But there is trouble for the earth and the sea, because the evil one has come down to you, being very angry, having the knowledge that he is but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was forced down to the earth, he made cruel attacks on the woman who gave birth to the male child. And there were given to the woman 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she might go in flight into the wasteland, to her place, where she is given food for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the snake. And the snake sent out of his mouth after the woman a river of water, so that she might be taken away by the stream. And the earth gave help to the woman, and with open mouth took up the river which the dragon sent out of his mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman and went away to make war on the rest of her seed, who keep the orders of God, and the witness of Jesus. Chapter 13. And he took his place on the sand of the sea. And I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads unholy names. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been given a death wound, and his death wound was made well, and all the earth was wondering at the beast. And they gave worship to the dragon, because he gave authority to the beast, and worshipping the beast, they said, Who is like the beast? And who is able to go to war with him? And there was given to him a mouth to say words of pride against God, and there was given to him authority to go on for 42 months. And his mouth was open to say evil against God, and against his name and his tent, even against those who are in heaven. And it was given to him to make war on the saints and to overcome them, and there was given to him authority over every tribe and people and language and nation. And all who are on the earth will give him worship, everyone whose name has not been from the first in the book of life of the Lamb who was put to death. If any man has ears, let him give ear. If any man sends others into prison he will go. If any man puts to death with the sword will he be put to death. Here is the quiet strength and the faith of the saints. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and his voice was like that of a dragon. And he makes use of all the authority of the first beast before his eyes. And he makes the earth and those who are in it give worship to the first beast, whose death wound was made well. And he does great signs, even making fire come down from heaven on the earth before the eyes of men. And those who are on the earth are turned from the true way by him through the signs which he was given power to do before the beast, giving orders to those who are on the earth to make an image to the beast, who was wounded by the sword, and came to life. And he had power to give breath to the image of the beast, so that words might come from the image of the beast, and that he might have all those who did not give worship to the image of the beast put to death. And he gives to all, small and great, the poor and those who have wealth, the free and those who are not free, a mark on their right hand or on their brows, so that no man might be able to do trade but he who has the mark, even the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. He who has knowledge, let him get the number of the beast, because it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Chapter 14. And I saw the Lamb on the mountain of Zion, and with him 144,000, marked on their brows with his name and the name of his Father. And a voice from heaven came to my ears, like the sound of great waters, and the sound of loud thunder, and the voice which came to me was like the sound of players, playing on instruments of music. And they made as it seemed a new song before the high seat, and before the 4 beasts and the rulers, and no man might have knowledge of the song but the 144,000, even those from the earth whom God has made his for a price. These are they who have not made themselves unclean with women, for they are virgins. These are they who go after the Lamb wherever he goes. These were taken from among men to be the first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth there was no false word, for they are untouched by evil. And I saw another angel in flight between heaven and earth, having eternal good news to give to those who are on the earth, and to every nation and tribe and language and people, saying with a loud voice, Have fear of God and give him glory, because the hour of his judging is come. And give worship to him who made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of water. And a second angel came after, saying, Destruction has come to Babylon the Great, which gave to all the nations the wine of the wrath of her evil ways. And a third angel came after them, saying with a loud voice, If any man gives worship to the beast and his image, and has his mark on his brow or on his hand, to him will be given of the wine of God's wrath which is ready unmixed in the cup of his wrath, and he will have cruel pain, burning with fire before the holy angels and before the Lamb, and the smoke of their pain goes up forever and ever. And they have no rest day and night, who give worship to the beast and his image, and have on them the mark of his name. Here is the quiet strength of the saints, who keep the orders of God, and the faith of Jesus. And a voice from heaven came to my ears, saying, Put in writing, there is a blessing on the dead who from now on come to their end in the Lord. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may have rest from their troubles, for their works go with them. And I saw a white cloud, and on the cloud I saw one seated, like a son of man, having on his head a crown of gold, and in his hand a sharp curved blade. And another angel came out from the house of God, crying with a loud voice to him who was seated on the cloud, "Put in your blade, and let the grain be cut, because the hour for cutting it is come, for the grain of the earth is over ready." And he who was seated on the cloud sent in his blade on the earth, and the grain of the earth was cut. And another angel came out from the house of God which is in heaven, having a sharp curved blade. And another angel came out from the altar, who has power over fire, and he gave a loud cry to him who had the sharp curved blade, saying, "Put in your sharp blade, and let the grapes of the vine of the earth be cut, for her grapes are fully ready." And the angel sent his blade into the earth, and the vine of the earth was cut, and he put it into the great wine crusher of the wrath of God. And the grapes were crushed underfoot outside the town, and blood came out from them, even to the headbands of the horses, 200 miles. Chapter 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and strange, 7 angels having the 7 last punishments, for in them the wrath of God is complete. And I saw a sea which seemed like glass mixed with fire, and those who had overcome the beast and his image and the number of his name, were in their places by the sea of glass, with God's instruments of music in their hands. And they give the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and full of wonder are your works, O Lord God, ruler of all, true and full of righteousness are your ways, eternal King. What man is there who will not have fear before you, O Lord, and give glory to your name? Because you only are holy, for all the nations will come and give worship before you, for your righteousness has been made clear." And after these things I saw, and the house of the tent of witness in heaven was open, and the 7 angels who had the 7 punishments came out from the house of God, clothed with linen, clean and bright, and with bands of gold about their breasts. And one of the 4 beasts gave to the 7 angels 7 gold vessels full of the wrath of God, who is living forever and ever. And the house of God was full of smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, and no one was able to go into the house of God, till the 7 punishments of the 7 angels were ended. Chapter 16. And a great voice out of the house of God came to my ears, saying to the 7 angels, "Go, and let that which is in the 7 vessels of the wrath of God come down on the earth." And the first went, and let what was in his vessel come down on the earth, and it became an evil poisoning wound on the men who had the mark of the beast, and who gave worship to his image. And the second let what was in his vessel come out into the sea, and it became blood as of a dead man, and every living thing in the sea came to an end. And the third let what was in his vessel come out into the rivers and the fountains of water, and they became blood. And the voice of the angel of the waters came to my ears, saying, "True and upright is your judging, O Holy One, who is and was from all time, for they made the blood of saints and prophets come out like a stream, and blood have you given them for drink, which is their right reward." And a voice came from the altar, saying, "Even so, O Lord God, ruler of all, true and full of righteousness is your judging." And the fourth let what was in his vessel come out on the sun, and power was given to it that men might be burned with fire. And men were burned with great heat, and they said evil things against the name of the God who has authority over these punishments, and they were not turned from their evil ways to give him glory. And the fifth let what was in his vessel come out on the high seat of the beast, and his kingdom was made dark, and they were biting their tongues for pain. And they said evil things against the God of heaven because of their pain and their wounds, and they were not turned from their evil works. And the sixth let what was in his vessel come out on the great river Euphrates, and it became dry, so that the way might be made ready for the kings from the east. And I saw coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 3 unclean spirits, like frogs. For they are evil spirits, working signs, who go out even to the kings of all the earth, to get them together to the war of the great day of God, the ruler of all. See, I come as a thief. Happy is he who is watching and keeps his robes, so that he may not go unclothed, and his shame be seen. And they got them together into the place which is named in Hebrew Armageddon. And the seventh let what was in his vessel come out on the air, And there came out a great voice from the house of God, from the high seat, saying, It is done. And there were flames and voices and thunders, and there was a great earthshock, so that never, from the time when men were on the earth, had there been so great an earthshock, so full of power. And the great town was cut into 3 parts, and the towns of the nations came to destruction, and Babylon the Great came into mind before God, to be given the cup of the wine of his wrath. And every island went in flight, and the mountains were seen no longer, and great drops of ice, every one about the weight of a talent, came down out of heaven on men, and men said evil things against God because of the punishment of the ice drops, for it is very great.